Hey smokers, Jiraga1 here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Creative Live Value software, which came with the Sound Blaster Live sound card. Now, back in my childhood, I had a sound card quite like this. Not exactly the same. I think this one's a little bit different. But we're running on Windows 9X, just like I was in the old days, running this on Windows ME. So this package basically has everything that I had in the original version back when I used it as a kid. It looks exactly the same, exactly how I remember it. Every little thing is working. Everything down to this stuff right here. And yes, I do have a MIDI keyboard connected to it now, but we're going to look at that later. But first, we're going to take a look at what I was promising I would look at in a previous video, and that is the Sound Blaster Live experience. Now, before we start this video, I do want to discuss a little topic about someone named Richard Audd. Richard Audd wrote the Earth Day song for this sound package, actually. And a while back, I don't know when it was exactly, I uploaded that same MIDI file that I had put through Logic Express and changed some instruments and mixed it a little bit, gave it a little bit of mixing, made it sound kind of good. And then I put it together with some Music Animation Machine footage, and I went and uploaded it. That stayed up for a little while. I don't know if it was a couple months or maybe even a year. Richard Audd himself put a copyright strike on that video. I had to take it down, and my YouTube account was sort of put on a bit of probation for the next 6 months. And from that point forward, I pretty much decided not to put any more copyrighted music on my YouTube channel at all. And, you know, it's usually a good practice, because you don't want to infringe people's copyrights, of course. Of course not. So, I was a bit hesitant to play any MIDI files from the Creative SP Live package here. And the actual MIDI file in question is right here. And so, I think I can just go ahead and open it with this. Apparently, Cakewalk has gone through the whole system and created work files of this. So this is the MIDI file in question. This is Cakewalk Express. Is a MIDI sequencer that I used a lot when I was a kid, using this same, I don't know if you can hear it very well. I did turn it a bit down. MIDI is very, very quiet on this for whatever reason. So it got taken down. And I was pretty upset about that. A little bit of anger, a little bit of frustration. And so from that point forward, I decided not to really do much more. I made sure that if I did add music to it, it was like keygen music or other different kinds of music that not too many people would care too much about. Apparently, Richard still really cares about his music, even to this day, and wants to protect it and preserve it in a way that's represented in a clear, concise, and not muddled with way. And I respect that. So much so that I actually sent him an email and asked him if I could use his song or any of his music. I actually don't know how much music he wrote for the Creative Live package. I don't know how many of these. Some of these are actually classical pieces, so I'm pretty sure he didn't write those. This one though, it doesn't have any MIDI metadata. Let me go ahead and open the info. We don't have any info for some reason. I'm not quite sure why that is. Here it is, because that's back when they used to put the info in the actual tracks, and so you can see right there. And I think this may have been the email address I used, but I don't think so. I don't think it's been around for that long. I could be wrong. But, so anyway, this is this is the song. I'm going to play it in a little bit here. I did email him and asked to get permission, and he actually did give it to me to use some of his music. So let's take a look at some of the other ones in here. We got Fantasy. Let's see if I can just drop it in here. Okay, I just dropped it like into into Earth Day. So I've now combined the two. So as you can see, this is written by someone completely different from Singapore. So, and then I guess I can just keep dragging them to figure out who wrote them. DC Deichmann. So it looks like there was. I know there was a competition, a contest, and it says so on Richard's website. And you can find the link for that in the description. This is like Sarah's 26. Let's see. That was a big one. So a lot of these, as you can see the format, it shows who it's copyrighted by and their actual email address. I guess technically I won't be playing back those. I guess I'm just going to be able to stick with Earth Day at this point, because the rest of these are owned by somebody else. And of course, I know what you're all thinking. This is really old music. This is old creative software. Who cares, right? Just play it back. Well, that's what I thought, like a couple years ago with Earth Day. There are people out there that still care about their music. So, unless you get specific permission for in it, and it doesn't matter how obscure something is, you got to be very, very careful with what you play on your channel. I don't know what this is. So you're pretty much seeing a whole bunch of stuff. So the Creative hosted a MIDI sequencing contest, and the winners were included in this media folder, I presume. There's some differences from this version of the Sound Blaster Live experience than mine. Like mine had some MP3 files that I just cannot find, and I don't know where they are. I found the MP3 files from Wingnuts, but that's about it. So in my Sound Blaster version that I originally had when I was a kid, which is a little bit different than this, had some MP3 files that you could play around with, and it did have some slight differences in what it could do. If I ever do find the original, of course you have to make a redo video of that. So before I even get down to playing any MIDI file at all whatsoever, I'm going to have to change the sound font, because right now I'm on... So right now I have the Ultimate Mega Drive Soundfont. One of the advantages to the Sound Blaster Live experience is that you can actually change the sound font, and we'll look at that in a second. But just listen to how good this sounds. It sounds like a recording from the Sega cartridge. It really does. Let me try the other one. Not bad, right? Alright, so, and then of course, if I want to, I can just... I on a MIDI keyboard, so... I'm noticing there's a lot more latency than there was with the other sound font I was using. Sort of a spring jump thing there. Okay, enough fun for that. Moving right along here, we're getting a little bit sidetracked. So basically, I guess we can listen to what Earth Day sounds with the Mega Drive Soundfont. Just kidding. So, here we have the Soundfont control panel thing here, and we can also nab the... What the hell is it? Keyboard. you can actually see everything that is in the sound font as well. This does not look like a standard your standard GM synth. There's like 5 different organs. There's no honky tonk. There's a random piano 4 that's not capitalized. All the things that come with the Ultimate Mega Drive sound font. Now there are some different choices in here as well. Let's go ahead and load. By default, it was set up with the 4 GMGSMT sound font. There's also an 8 megabyte, I guess, GM sound effects, so it also has effects. It's a little bit bigger in size, and this one's a little bit smaller, and then this is smaller still. So this is probably the crappiest sounding one, I'm assuming. Since this was the default, I'm assuming this is exactly, it will sound exactly how I remember it. So let's go ahead and select that, and it'll load it in right now. And so right now you got a lot of stuff allocated here. This is actually all the stuff we have loaded in. We can actually clear some of this and free up a little bit of this sound font cache, which is kind of weird. You can change the amount of cache, whatever, for whatever reason. You just turn it up if you want more. So I guess the problem with if you have the cache turned down a lot like that, you get less latency, I want to say. So now that that's enabled, it'll sound a lot different. Now we got a lot of different choices here. Piano 1, 2, 3. There's no piano 4 anymore. Now it's honky tonk. I guess series second playing, but and then if you do want to change, actually I think you can change sound fonts on the fly. So if you turn up the sound font cache and you load in different sound fonts. Into another bank, this one there, and go to another bank, load in the 8 megabyte one there, or what I assume is 8 megabyte one. Takes a little bit longer. So if we look at our list of banks, we have the different sound fonts. For some reason it cleared the number 0. I think I'll just set number 3 to the 2. Yeah, we're getting kind of confusing here, but it'll all be clear momentarily. So 1 is the 4, 2 is the 8, 3 is the 2, and we're gonna make 4. Okay, these are also used by bank 3 for some reason. So let's go to 20, which is empty. Go figure, right? And we need more cache, so we'll just turn this up, whatever. And we'll click on this. Load in the Ultimate Megazord sound font. So now we can switch between a couple here. And we can actually go down here and click Ultimate Mega Drive sound font. I don't know where the bass is. So that's definitely our Sega Genesis bass for no joke there. So we switch over to this, and now it switches over to fingered bass. And then, so that's what the 4 megabyte version sounded like. The 2 doesn't sound too much different. How about the 8? Now we're talking quality. So the 8 megabyte one is definitely superior to pretty much everything else. Let's go ahead and go to slap bass 1. Switch back over to 4. I think it sounds exactly the same on both. So depending on which one you have, it will sound different. Unless you switch to this. Sounds just a little lower quality. I don't know if you can really tell. It could just be my velocity. And of course we switch back to this. So it's pretty cool. You can switch sound fonts on the fly like that. You can switch between these from there. I'm not quite sure if you can do it while a MIDI file is playing. Okay, so if we do want to switch back and forth, this is our really good sounding sound font that came with Sound Blaster Live. And then if we want to replace it with the Ultimate Mega Drive sound font, it needs to do a little bit of loading. And we can actually load it back in, and then okay, so you get the idea. You can switch sound fonts around. We're going to switch back to the 8 megabyte good sounding one. Doesn't sound exactly like the one that I remember from my childhood, but it sounds better. It sounds as good as this thing can get. Well, theoretically it can sound infinitely good because you can load whatever sound font you want into it, and it's fine. So, and then we can sort of start grappling this here. So, I haven't really even started the original point of the video, which was to actually look at this particular thing, but you're sort of getting more than you bargained for. Now, there's different configurations here. At one point in time, apparently you could have a 4.1 speaker setup.
Welcome to the SB Live experience.
I just crapped my pants. Oh my god. Let's turn this down before I die. And set it to headphones. I'm assuming most of you have headphones.
Welcome to the SB Live experience.
Why does it have to be so loud?
Left channel. Right channel.
Okay, so that works. 4.1. Don't have 4.1. So, interestingly, though, I sort of have speakers that kind of look like that. So we'll keep it headphones. I don't really think it's going to matter too much. So I guess if you don't have headphones, sorry. So there's a couple different sections here: environmental music, environmental sound, environmental effects, environmental modeling, and environmental positioning. So if you're saying there's a bit of a theme, it happens to be environmental audio by Creative. Now essentially this is just throw some different crappy brands of reverb on and hope that it sounds good. So here's a bunch of different of the presets. It basically has like EQs and reverb, chorus, stuff like that you can throw on it. In my version of this Sound Blaster Live experience, it actually had a way to change the pitch of audio being played back, and I had a lot of fun with that back in the day, but for whatever reason it's not in this version, so maybe my card doesn't support that kind of stuff. Okay, so first thing right here, we have the environmental music. Now, I was telling a little bit of a story about how this software right here inspired me to start playing an instrument, which happens to be the bass. And so we have this right here, which is, it just basically allows you to test what it's like to have multiple voices and see how many voices. There's a little meter that'll go up when I click on these, and Sound Blaster Live lets you play up to an amazing 256 voices with an unprecedented 8 megabytes of sound samples for better MIDI playback. I can attest to that because we just loaded in a sound font that was in fact 8 megabytes in size. And for whatever reason, 44 megabytes have been allocated for it, and I really don't have an explanation for that. Whatever. And so, as a kid, I'd go through this and play with it, and you know, turn them all on and such. But for whatever reason, I would just sit. I would just sit here listening to this for whatever reason. It was actually 6th grade band class. I was trying to decide which instrument I would want to start playing, and you know, I started looking at this for ideas, and bass was actually an option, and I picked it specifically for because it sounded cool on this. And this is probably a 10-second or so loop. And that's it. This little MIDI loop actually inspired me to start playing bass. Now, I haven't played bass recently, and I actually have taken quite a hiatus from actually playing it. I don't know if I'd want to start again as a part of my music or not, but I guess let me know what you guys think, if that would be interesting if you wanted to see that sort of content more on the channel. I'm assuming not, because most of you are here for like the Windows 98 stuff, the Mac stuff, the computer stuff, and you wouldn't particularly be interested in something more musically related. But if that's not true, then you can let me know. Okay, so you can add different layers, of course. Of course, now we're up to 256 voices. Really, it just gives it an environmental echo, reverb. If you turn this all on at once and then you click this, it's pretty much the ear rape button. So don't do that. Next up, we have the Soundfont Player. And this is something that confused me as a kid, because I didn't really understand what sound fonts were. I didn't know you could load different sound fonts in. These two songs use custom-tailored sound fonts specifically for their songs alone. They sound totally different. They're two completely different songs. If you play them back from their source MIDI files, they sound like garbage. So let's listen to that first, just because they will have the improper sound font on them. So this is the original MIDI file that's actually going to be playing out of this. This is the sound font that goes with it, a specific sound font. So I could, in essence, load this sound font into the, I guess, the sound font memory here. For some reason, it's empty. Actually, Africa is already loaded in. For whatever reason, I think it's because I have this open. If I switch this over to Blood War, yep, I see that flickered a little bit there. It's now switched over to Blood War, so it's actually automatically switching the sound font over as I change it. And the sound fonts, and it does it pretty quickly because the actual sound fonts themselves are very, very small. So if I were to go into keyboard, yeah, look at that. So it doesn't even want me to open the keyboard right now. But if I open it up, it would have a good like 6 or 7 instruments, something like that, for it to play back these specific songs, which have been custom tailored, and because they've been, you know, specifically designed to play that song, they sound basically like CD audio music because they're using samples and whatnot. So this is what Africa sounds like on the Blood War sound font, I guess. I don't know. I didn't load it yet. It doesn't. I don't think it likes me doing that. Maybe we should go back to main, and then it loads that one back in. And then I didn't actually know it did that in the background. So we try to load Africa now. As you can say, it doesn't sound quite right. Actually, I kind of like it like this. It sounds kind of creepy, kind of eerie. And then, of course, we have the regular version of Africa. And we'll go ahead and go to the Soundfont Player. And then play the real version. Which doesn't work because I have this open. Or it just doesn't work at all. I think I broke it because I have this open. Let's try it again. No, no, wait. There it went. Well, that was invigorating. And then it will play again. So as you can see, most of these instruments are empty except for the ones that are used for the song. So I got sort of a breath sound. Oh yeah. This reminds me of the Shooby-Doo music from Earthworm Jim 2? Oh my god. So now let's take a look at Blood War.
Except he's got no neck, so they might just have to give him the robe instead. What kind of music was it listening to anyway?
Break your man! Seriously though, that voice like scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. It was mainly when I was actually messing around with the sound font itself before I'd even heard the song like this. And wow, has this taken a turn or what? And the other thing about the guy's voice is it kind of sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger got turned into the Zerg Overmind from StarCraft 1. I don't know, listen to it again.
Was it listening to anyway?
Okay, so we're done with that. So yeah, interesting. We can again go back here and reload up the Blood War sound font instead. And we'll see if it'll let me load up the keyboard. Somehow it does. Run Blood War. Somehow I remember actually clicking through this and saying, what is all this? Why am I seeing this? I think it was because when I actually loaded up one of these songs to play them, it would like switch the sound font over and I'd be like, whoa, what happened to the MIDI? Apparently that's just the G there. That's just that. There's nothing else but that G. Okay. Oh yeah, rough speak. I remember that because it's this voice like scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. I was like, where is it? Where is it? Let's find the sample. Oh, when I
Actually, they won't give him the robe. What kind of music was it listening to anyway? They'll put it around his neck.
I was like, oh God, why? What did he do? Don't hurt him.
They'll put it around his neck. They're gonna give him the robe if you don't pay the music. So they might just have to give him the robe instead. Except he's got no neck. Well, Blood War. Blood War. Well,
I never thought I'd have this experience again, but somehow I did. So yeah, it sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger became the Zerg Overmind. I can't give you a better sound comparison. Okay, so we'll get rid of this. Clear, and clear. I don't really know how this thing works. Apparently, you can put them all right here. A bank stack. I don't know. Or you can different bank stack configurations. I don't know. So we're just in 2 of these. We have a couple more to go, obviously. So we've got environmental music. We did that already. No. We were only in 1. We didn't even get through 1 yet. We just now got through 1. It's through. We're done. Okay. And it's reloading some other stuff over there. Environmental sound. So this is pretty simple. It's just a stereo. Just to make it sound like it's moving around.
Catch. Got it. Take it back. Hurry.
Hey, take it easy.
You know, the cheesiest sounding stuff. And when I've heard, I think this scared me when I was a kid as well. But when I heard it, like, when I was testing this out,
Oh, yeah? Eat this.
Really, wise guy? Have some lead.
Take that.
I'm sorry. And then there's this flight simulator game which came out of left field. Shoot the crows? Left click or use shift plus arrow keys. You can fly through the crows. Well, I don't know if crows could be white. Maybe they can? I don't know. So it sounds like you're in... So this is where this sound came from. Or this song. You go into the Sound Blaster live experience sphere, and let's see if the sound's different in here. Oh yeah! Oh, this is good in here. You can really tell that the sound is coming from like this one dot in space somewhere. How many of the spheres are there? Oh, there's quite a few actually. Anyway, let's go find them. That's pretty obnoxious sounding, actually. This is really hard to control. This is actually really bad controls. Oh, yeah. Getting disoriented and confused like I just came out of like a bar. Oh, was in that one? I think I've been in all of them. Okay, so let's do some things PETA won't like. Oh damn! Hook 'em out. Maybe I can only shoot... Oh, I'm only supposed to... Maybe those aren't crows, those are actually doves or seagulls, and I'm actually supposed to shoot the crows, because crows are bad. I guess. I can't hit them no matter what! Oh, yeah, there it goes. I definitely hit the white one, and it didn't die, and I shot the crow, and it did. I think Sound Blaster Live is kind of racist, but whatever. Bird racist. I guess I get the idea with that. So that was environmental sound. Now we're going to move on to environmental effects. Which I don't really know what... Okay. Special effects can be used to add richness and realism to sound and music. Choose any of the following. Compare the difference with environmental audio. Oh, I see what it means. So you want to it'll test reverb with this one, test chorus with this one, and so on. Or you can just do studio dry, or your turns the wetness up. wouldn't want to put this on a regular piece of music. You'd want that to actually be part of the actual music and let the artist decide whether or not he wants to put flanger on his guitar. However, if you had like a pure album of just this, you can make it sound more twangy with this, I guess. That might help.
Sound.
But if you add flanger onto like a full recording, it doesn't really work when it's set on the master track like that.
Sound. Blaster.
Whoa.
Live. Sound. Blaster. Live. Sound.
Okay, I get it.
It's a chilly winter's
night. At last the moonlight's breaking
through. It's a chilly winter's
night.
So that's sort of what that was doing. I don't remember the artifacting when I was a kid. I probably didn't know what to listen for, but that's part of the. And then the vocal morpher. I'm assuming that is. Kind of cool. Okay, ring modulator.
Sound.
Blaster. Live.
And that just sounds like the robots from Deus Ex.
Sound. Blaster. Live.
Or it's not the robots. It's like the computer consoles or something. I can't really remember. So this is essentially like an entertainment thing. Okay. Pretty simple. Environmental modeling. This is where it gets kind of interesting. Many factors in our surroundings affect the way we perceive sound. In this example, we consider two main factors: size of the room and the material of the wall. Listen to how these factors affect the environment. So, soft, medium, hard. Okay.
It's a chilly winter's night. At last the moonlight's breaking through. It's a chilly winter.
I think I'm starting to get it. Oh, damn. I'll play this in your bathroom. Essentially, this sounds the best here. That sounds terrible. And finally, you can even load in your own sound effects. Let me try and find a good one. Oh god! This WAV file was over 60 megabytes. The environmental effects are still on. What are we on right now? I don't know. More echoey? Okay. It's still, like, messing up. I have successfully crashed it. Maybe if I wait for long enough, it will recover. I don't think it's coming back, man. I think that holy shit, it finally loaded. Okay. Bathroom music. Closet music. Oh god, shit. Alrighty, that took long enough. Alright, that was environmental effects. No, we already did that. Environmental modeling. So it looks like we're almost done here. Environmental positioning. too loud. How do I stop it? Oh, this is more appropriate. This is how they make sound effects like this in video games, like the bees are buzzing all around you or whatever. They just go like they really are just going into Sound Blaster Live experience and just doing this. Oh, and here's so you can add your own sounds. So we can just make multiple songs together and put them together. That's what the fun is. More like ear rape if you put a bunch of songs all at once. That's something we really need to do. I don't have any audio files ready to go. And they'd all make Sound Blaster Live crash every single time I try to load them in, so that's it. We've already looked at speaker configuration. I've sat here for hours as a kid playing around with these, trying to learn about sound and stuff like that. And that's really all there is for this SB Live experience. And that's all the copyrights and whatnot. And, yeah, don't forget. Alright. So that's the Sound Blaster noob experience. I spent a lot of time in Audio HQ playing around with this crap that... maximum simultaneous wave playback, wave blaster emulation. You can configure a MIDI device here, and you can change if you have a different sound device. So, if only I still had that old Sound Blaster card. I mean, I tell you, Sound Graph, which doesn't really do anything, and I don't understand why. Mixer is just the it's a mixer. Shared mixer. I think both will go up and down over here. Just a smaller, more streamlined mixer. It has more things, because if you go into properties on this, you can check more things to use. I'm sure with recording, you can set up stuff like audio mix, or stereo mix, and stuff like that. Yeah, what you hear. Trademark, copyright reserved on that one. There's other stuff like, other MIDI stuff that I didn't really look at. Keytar, for example, which is essentially... It's a guitar, except you're using MIDI to play stuff. Now, my MIDI keyboard doesn't do anything in this situation, obviously, because they don't want you to use a MIDI keyboard. They want you to use your mouse, which even that is not working. Oh, wait, because I'm using the wrong mouse. That'll do it. You want to close the app? No? Now, can you change the... I did something. You can't change the key while you're... It doesn't even tell you what the chord is you're playing. I guess that's what this is for. Okay. Oh, function keys. I didn't go far enough. Okay, so A. E minor? That's a lot of things. So I guess if I... You can actually do this. You just hold the mouse button down, go like this, and then just... It's quite beautiful, actually. But you can... You can get rockin'. There's no 5 chords, though. I guess F2 instead of A, let's say F1 or G5. Excuse me? How about... Does my MIDI keyboard make it work? GA? I can't change it. Not a big deal. Can't change it. Here you can learn how to play the guitar. Turn sound off when the mouse button is released. Turn sound when chord changes. Increase note. Okay. So, auto plucking pattern? A lot of different plucking patterns. And an auto strumming pattern for... I never ever used this. I didn't even know this existed. Reverb chords. And then of course there's the Keytar, which basically you can make it be whatever you want. And in my case, I want it to be, of course, a slap bass, because that's relevant to me. What's with this baby? Oh, that's if you don't want things to be complicated. Okay. So then you put it back to baby mode? Alright. Alright, so that's Keytar. You can break your guitar when you're done, and there's the credits that appeared to start playing before I even clicked the button. I'm gonna have to double check that, because that was kind of creepy. So that's Keytar. Rhythm Mania, which is apparently something I really have never ever used. It's some way to create a song. And as you can see, you're using basically the same sort of thing you did in that previous example, where you can move around all your stuff. Let's see what happens. Make it minor, different flavors of minor. Make it 6, make it diminished, make it major. Add 9, sus4. Oh god. What is all of this? I mean... So you can sort of use it to like... play back something. Let's play some Blood. I gotta say, I really don't know how to use things like this. I mean, I know how to use MIDI sequencers, but I don't really know how to do this kind of live stuff. It's kind of baffles me a little bit. But basically, it's this live thing. You can sort of have it play back a backing track so that you can play to it. So it's people who are better with musical theory than I am, for sure. Good God. So that's all I can say about that, because I don't really understand quite everything that goes into it. XP Live Experience, that's what I already did. This is the Play Center. This is the... just plays media files, essentially. And it takes forever to load up. And that's really all it is. It plays media files. It's the exact same thing as Media Player. No different at all. Wave Studio is just a way to record sound and do horrible things. If you set the sound device to record to, again, let's check what you hear. Select that as that, and then we'll go ahead and for some reason it's only coming out of one channel. The other one's just sort of crapping out. Might be something wrong with the sound card. I mean, this makes Audacity look really good, because this really can't do too much. I mean, this is the extent of really it can do, just like... Nothing is surprising. Speaker I opened up before, and basically you can decide how many speakers you have, and how it's specifically set up with different profiles for different games and whatever. Creative multi-speaker surround, which doesn't really help too much, and doesn't really sound very good. So, you know, oh, you could do the panning thing again, I think. I guess if you have this really cool speaker setup, you theoretically could have your MIDIs coming out of this side, and your line in coming out of this side, and the CD audio coming out of this side. Why would anyone want to do this? Wait, they're kind of going together. That's if you want to go absolutely bonkers, and I can't imagine why. But they give you the option, not that you'll probably want to use it. I know I wouldn't. But, you know, there's some crazy people with some crazy weird audio setups. And you never know. What if something, for some reason, his sound card was messed up and it only worked as if he pushed the MIDI through? I really can't come up with a good reason. Modem. Multimedia. This is just the system multimedia properties. Whether or not it will play full screen video, blah 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 blah, CD music volume, what the CD drive is, so on and so forth. And then of course help, it'll tell you how to use Keytar and all that jazz. You can actually play jazz in Keytar if you want. I think we've actually exhausted, we looked at absolutely everything in this. I think Call of Duty I think Call of Duty music would be pretty appropriate here. So this is just pretty much an MP3 player, plays MIDI files, you know. And for that, for some reason, opens this again. I don't know why. Loop, or repeat mode, intro mode. This is if you load multiple tracks at once. This is the stereo enhancement mode. Make it sound slightly worse, but I can't really tell. And then, of course, the environmental audio. Whoa! And just distortion channel. Oh, Lord, that's pretty terrible. That's funny. I went to underwater right when like the beluga whale sound effects started playing. Okay, so you get the idea. That's Sound Blaster. So I've done all kinds of retarded stuff on this, and I've left out one major thing that I originally started the video for in the first place, and my MIDI keyboard just came unplugged, which won't really help me. So one of the main reasons that sort of kept me from making this video before was, of course, the fact that the one song, and it is just the one song. Every other song, let's go into the creative folder right now. Just take a look. Let's be live, media. So just pretend that none of the duplicates are here. So we got Earth Day, which is right there. We'll load that into Cakewalk Express. And so we're going to end this video on a playthrough of this song. It's a very good song, very inspirational song. I can see now why he sort of won that contest. He told a story on his website about how he like sent this MIDI file to them at one point, and he forgot about it, and then he got a letter back from him saying he won, or whatever. I don't remember what the reward is. You can go to his website, check it out below. I think he's doing some more recent stuff. As in, like, he's working on some new projects. Let's see. What am I doing? Okay, well, we'll make sure the right sound font. We do not want to play this in the Ultimate Mega Drive sound font. We'll clear that one, and we will stick with the 8 megabyte one. Let's crank this down a little bit. Let's make sure we're working. Okay, it's working. Alright, so this is Earth Day. I'm going to end the video by playing this song. This is a song that Richard Audd did give me permission to use. And I will be playing that right now. Probably as it was supposed to be played, as per Creative's vision or view, but in Creative's vision or view, they'd also want me to put on some sort of environmental effect as well to muck it all up. But I won't be doing that today. I'll just be using the best sound font that came with the sound card, or at least what came with this software that may go with this sound card. I don't really know. Let me just shut up and let you listen to it. Enjoy. So that's it, everybody. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I did a lot of rambling and a lot of going through a bunch of MIDI weirdness, and it was quite specific in said MIDI weirdness, but I'm sure I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the song. Again, you can check out Richard Audd's website below. He is, as far as I know, still making music. I know he's still out there. He did respond to my email. Hopefully you somehow managed to enjoy this kind of video, Richard, if you are watching. There wasn't really too much MIDI demonstration for me to do with other MIDI files in Sound Blaster. So if there's any more to be done in the future, if I can get a hold of that old Sound Blaster Live disc somewhere and actually go in and find the rest of the missing files, I'll make another video about that, but it's probably not going to be for a very long time. So have a nice day, everybody, and we'll see you later.